Welcome to Trending Unpacked, the show that dives into what the world's been searching for and why it matters. Today, we're embarking on a truly fascinating deep dive into one of the most talked about, debated, and frankly transformative entities in the tech world, OpenAI.
That's right. When you think about the current AI revolution, OpenAI isn't just a participant. They've been, well, a principal architect, really.
hmm
From their ambitious founding vision to the truly disruptive tools they've unleashed, and even the internal dramas that have played out on a global stage, they've been at the absolute epicenter.
Absolutely. Our mission today is to unpack the entire journey of OpenAI from its ambitious beginnings right up to its current status at the forefront of the AI revolution here in 2025.
Yeah.
We're going to explore their groundbreaking tools, the pivotal moments that shaped their path, and, why they continue to dominate headlines, influencing technology and society at large.
And we'll be looking at the sources you shared to help us understand not just what happened, but maybe the deeper implications for all of us.
Exactly. Let's dive right in. So let's set the scene back in 2015. OpenAI burst onto the tech landscape as this incredibly ambitious venture based in San Francisco.
Right.
But this wasn't just another startup aiming for a quick exit. The founding team, it read like a veritable who's who of Silicon Valley titans. Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Ilya Sutskever, Greg Brockman, a handful of other incredibly prominent figures.
Yeah, quite the lineup.
What was the true significance of having such a high-profile lineup right at the start? It feels like more than just capital, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You've hit on something crucial there. It was indeed far more than just financial backing, though that was certainly substantial.
Right.
The sheer caliber of those founders, particularly names like Elon Musk and Sam Altman, immediately lent an unprecedented amount of credibility and, frankly, gravity to the whole thing. This wasn't just another tech startup. It was a serious declaration of intent. They weren't merely bringing capital. They were bringing, established vision, existing networks that span industries, and a proven track record of disrupting the status quo.
So it signaled a monumental undertaking from day one, a sort of pay attention moment.
Precisely. Their collective presence acted like a magnet. It allowed OpenAI to attract not only top-tier research talent, the brilliant minds in AI, but also significant early investment that, well, probably would have been inaccessible to a less star-studded founding team.
Okay.
And AI research, especially at the scale they envisioned, is incredibly capital-intensive and research-heavy.
Right.
So having those names on the masthead signaled to the world that this was a genuinely monumental undertaking, one with profound potential and not just some fleeting idea. It set a very high bar for ambition.
And what was that truly monumental aspiration, that grand goal they set out to achieve? Our sources mention AGI, artificial general intelligence, and this remarkably lofty mission to ensure this powerful technology benefits all of humanity.
Yeah.
For listeners who might be familiar with the term but not its full scope, maybe you can define AGI for us and then elaborate on that initial, almost utopian vision. What did benefiting all of humanity truly entail for something so potentially huge?
Right. AGI, or artificial general intelligence, it really is the holy grail of AI research. Unlike the narrow AI we see everywhere today, which is great at specific tasks like playing chess or translating or writing a bit of text.
For the specialized stuff.
Exactly. AGI refers to a hypothetical AI that possesses human-level cognitive abilities across a whole wide, diverse range of tasks.
Okay.
Think of it as an intelligence capable of learning, understanding, and applying knowledge in totally new situations, essentially replicating the breadth and adaptability of human intelligence. It would have the capacity to generalize learning from one area to another, to reason, solve problems, interact with the world. Kind of like we do.
So it's not just doing one thing well, it's doing everything well, like a human mind, adaptable.
Exactly. And the initial mission of OpenAI was deeply idealistic, almost altruistic, you could say. The goal was to ensure that this incredibly powerful technology, once achieved, would be developed and deployed in a way that maximizes benefits and minimizes harm for everyone on the planet.
Everyone. That's a big promise.
Huge. Not just a select few or one corporation or one country. Benefiting all of humanity was a commitment to safety, to accessibility, and to the equitable distribution of this immense, potentially transformative power. It meant thinking about the profound ethical implications from day one and designing the technology not just for profit or even just for cool innovation, but with a deep sense of the collective good.
So that implies things like open research,
Yeah.
preventing misuse.
Yeah, exactly. Fostering open research, actively working to prevent misuse, ensuring fair and widespread access to its capabilities, and avoiding that dangerous concentration of power in just a few hands. It was a vision rooted in profound social responsibility, almost a philosophical stance on the future of intelligence itself.
So they started with this incredibly pure, nonprofit vision, almost like a public utility for AGI. But then something shifted quite dramatically. OpenAI transitioned from being a pure nonprofit to what they termed a capped profit structure.
That's right.
This seems like a pretty fundamental, almost contradictory change for a mission-driven organization. Can you walk us through that evolution and, more importantly, the explicit why behind it? What forced that change?
You're right. It was a pivotal and widely debated shift. Initially, OpenAI was structured as a pure nonprofit organization, driven only by its mission, funded by donations, grants.
The idealistic model.
Right. The idea was to keep AGI out of the hands of singular profit motives or national interests. However, the reality of developing AGI, or even the advanced AI that's a stepping stone to it, proved far, far more resource-intensive than maybe they initially anticipated.
The practicalities kicked in.
Big time. We're talking astronomical amounts of computing power, vast, almost unfathomable data sets, and the need to attract and keep the absolute best AI research talent globally. These are all immensely expensive propositions.
Right.
Traditional nonprofit funding, like donations, it just wasn't going to cut it. Not enough to compete with the billions being poured into AI research by other tech giants like Google, Amazon, Microsoft.
So they needed a way to offer investors a return, but maybe with a built-in limit, to maintain some semblance of their original mission. Is that the idea?
Precisely. The explicit reason for the transition to a capped profit model was the necessity to attract the massive private funding required for large-scale AI development.
Okay.
The capped profit model means that investors can receive a return on their investment, but that return is capped at a certain multiple. You often hear figures like 100 times the initial investment, for instance, but it's a predefined limit.
100 times. That's still quite a cap.
It is, but the point is, beyond that cap, any further profits are theoretically supposed to be recirculated back into the nonprofit mission of developing AGI safely and for the benefit of humanity.
Right, back to the original goal.
Yeah. This innovative, if complex structure allowed them to raise billions of dollars from investors. And that was absolutely critical for scaling their research and development efforts, hiring top engineers and scientists, and acquiring the immense computational resources needed to train the increasingly large and complex AI models we see today.
So without that shift, they might have just stalled.
Without this shift, they simply couldn't have kept pace. Probably not, no.
That's a truly fascinating compromise, trying to blend idealism with practical necessity. But what are the inherent tensions or even potential contradictions when a mission-driven entity like this adopts a commercial model, even one with a cap? How might this decision have inadvertently set the stage for some of the future developments and debates we've seen, including, the public perception of the company?
This is where it gets really interesting, and it's a tension that I think continues to define OpenAI's unique identity. The core contradiction lies in balancing that idealistic, altruistic mission with the commercial realities of a highly competitive, market-driven environment. While the capped profit structure unlocked funding, it inherently introduced a different set of incentives. Investors, even with a cap, are ultimately looking for a return on their capital. And this can subtly, or maybe overtly, push decisions towards product commercialization, aggressive market dominance, and a relentless pace of development, which sometimes creates friction with slower, more cautious, or purely ethical considerations.
So the pursuit of funding could, in practice, influence the for humanity's benefit part of the equation, maybe pull it in a different direction.
Exactly. For example, the need for capital might mean less radical openness about their research, perhaps making certain models proprietary to maintain a competitive edge.
Right, not open sourcing everything.
Rather than immediately open sourcing everything for the collective good, which was part of their original ethos. It could also mean prioritizing the development of features that generate revenue or attract more investment, rather than purely focusing on the fundamental safety, equitable access, or widespread societal benefit of the AI.
Okay, I see the conflict there.
Yeah, this tension sets the stage for ongoing debates about who truly controls this powerful technology, how profits are balanced against principles, and whether the dizzying speed of innovation might, at times, outpace the development of robust ethical safeguards.
It's a constant tightrope walk.
It absolutely is, between mission and market. And it absolutely laid the groundwork for many of the discussions and controversies that have followed OpenAI's every move. It's a question of whether the cap is truly strong enough, to contain the powerful forces of commercial pressure.
And it seems that strategic shift, that cap profit model, truly gave them the fuel they needed. Because what followed wasn't just growth, it was an explosion. In late 2022, OpenAI truly burst onto the global stage with something that didn't just capture attention, it ignited a global phenomenon, ChatGPT.
Yeah, that was the moment.
How did this conversational AI tool achieve such unprecedented growth, reaching over 100 million users in, like a blink of an eye? And how did it manage to ignite this global fascination with generative AI, bringing it firmly into mainstream consciousness almost overnight?
ChatGPT's launch was nothing short of a watershed moment, a true inflection point in public perception of AI. Its explosive growth wasn't just about its raw technical prowess, which was undeniably impressive.
It's very good.
It was very good. But it was more profoundly about its sheer accessibility and immediate utility.
Okay.
Before ChatGPT, interacting with advanced AI often felt clunky, right? Limited to specific applications or like using a very specialized tool.
Yeah, you needed to know what you were doing.
Exactly. ChatGPT as a conversational AI completely changed that dynamic. It allowed users to interact with it using natural language, just like talking to another person. You could ask it anything, write a poem, debug code, explain complex science simply, brainstorm ideas, or even just have a surprisingly coherent chat.
And it would just respond.
And it would respond coherently, logically, and often brilliantly.
So it wasn't just a chatbot. It was more like an accessible, infinitely knowledgeable conversation partner, something anyone could use.
Precisely. For millions of people, it was the first time that AI felt truly intuitive, powerful, and personal. The aha moment wasn't some abstract tech breakthrough. It was intensely personal. Realizing this wasn't a toy, but a tool that could genuinely assist them in their daily lives, work, education, creative stuff.
Right.
Its ability to generate human-like text across this incredibly vast range of topics, combined with its simple chat-based interface that everyone was already familiar with, made it instantly engaging for the general public, not just tech enthusiasts.
It democratized it in a way.
Completely. It democratized access to powerful AI and sparked this collective realization of what generative AI could truly do, pushing it from the lab into living rooms, classrooms, offices globally.
Wow.
It turned AI from a concept into a tangible, usable reality for virtually everyone with an internet connection. And that sparked a Cambrian explosion of innovation and investment across the entire tech landscape.
And ChatGPT was just the initial tremor, wasn't it? OpenAI quickly followed up with a suite of other tools that really expanded the public's understanding of what generative AI was capable of, proving it wasn't just about text.
No, definitely not.
We're talking about DALL-E for image generation, Whisper for highly accurate speech recognition, Codex as a sophisticated coding assistant, and more recently, Sora for mind-bending video generation.
Right, a whole toolkit.
How did these tools collectively reshape creativity, productivity, and education across so many different domains?
Well, these tools showcase the incredible breadth and versatility of generative AI far beyond just text. DALL-E, for instance, introduced the world to the idea that AI could create original, high-quality, and often surprisingly artistic images from simple text prompts.
Yeah, the avocado armchair thing.
Exactly, that kind of stuff. This wasn't just interesting. It was a revolution for artists, designers, marketers, anyone needing visuals. Imagine being able to conjure any image you describe: cyberpunk cat playing saxophone, serene forest with ruins.
In
In seconds, without needing any drawing skill. That capability fundamentally changed the landscape of content creation, making high-quality visual content accessible to vastly more people.
It almost sounds like a superpower for creatives, or maybe non-creatives too.
In many ways, it truly felt like it. Then there's Whisper, which brought highly accurate speech recognition to the forefront. Its utility is massive, transcribing meetings, interviews, powering voice interfaces, accessibility tools.
Practical stuff.
Hugely practical, making human-computer interactions smoother and more efficient for countless applications. Codex, on the other hand, became this indispensable assistant for developers. It could translate natural language descriptions into functioning code, suggest improvements, even generate entire functions.
Wow.
Significantly boosting developer productivity and potentially lowering the barrier to entry for aspiring coders. This had a profound impact on the software development lifecycle, accelerating projects and freeing up developers for more complex creative tasks.
And Sora, the video generation tool, feels like the latest frontier. What's so groundbreaking about that? It seems like the next big leap.
Sora is arguably the most groundbreaking of the lot because it tackles one of the most complex generative tasks, creating realistic, dynamic video from simple text descriptions.
Right. Video is hard.
Incredibly hard. The ability for AI to generate entire scenes, complete with consistent characters, fluid movement, and detailed environments, is a massive leap forward. Previous AI video attempts were often short, jerky, or just plain weird.
Yeah, uncanny valley stuff sometimes.
Exactly. Sora hints at a future where video content creation could be accessible to anyone, not just those with expensive equipment, large teams, and extensive training. Think about the implications for filmmakers, advertisers, educators, or even just someone wanting to tell a visual story on social media.
Game changer.
Potentially. Collectively, these tools didn't just offer incremental improvements. They provided repeated aha moments. They revealed AI's capacity to fundamentally change how we create, how we work, and how we learn by automating complex tasks and unlocking entirely new creative possibilities for millions of users worldwide. They tapped into a fundamental human desire for greater efficiency and expanded creative expression, often doing in seconds what used to take hours or days.
Indeed. With that wave of innovation, OpenAI didn't just cement its place. It became almost indispensable, seen by many as a steward of a potentially world-changing technology.
Great.
Yet for an organization that deals with the very future of intelligence, it was a very human, very dramatic moment in late 2023 that truly put its governance to the test. The sudden ousting of CEO Sam Altman.
Oh, yeah, that was something.
Can you detail that whirlwind event for us and explain how his eventual reinstatement was driven by intense public and employee pressure? It was wild.
The late 2023 boardroom crisis was an absolute blockbuster event. It truly revealed the unique, almost public utility nature of OpenAI, like you said. In November, Sam Altman was abruptly fired by the company's nonprofit board of directors.
Just like that.
Just like that. They cited a lack of consistent candor in his communications, which was pretty vague. This decision immediately sent shockwaves, not just through Silicon Valley, but around the world.
I remember seeing the headlines everywhere.
Exactly. The reaction was swift and overwhelming, both internally and externally. Inside OpenAI, employees who largely revered Altman and his vision for the company's future threatened to resign en masse.
Seriously, like almost everyone.
Hundreds of them. In an unprecedented move, a letter signed by hundreds of employees effectively stated that they would only return if Altman was reinstated and the board, or at least many of its members, resigned.
Wow. So it wasn't just a quiet corporate squabble. It became a very public referendum on leadership and vision.
Absolutely. Simultaneously, the public, the investor community, particularly Microsoft, their largest investor and even world leaders, expressed profound concern.
Right, because OpenAI's tech was suddenly everywhere.
Precisely. OpenAI's products have become integral to so many workflows across industries, and its stability was seen as crucial for the future trajectory of AI development. The pressure was immense and came from all directions. A near-unanimous employee revolt, the very public intervention of major investors like Microsoft, and a global tech community who largely saw Altman as the dynamic, visionary face of the generative AI revolution.
So the board had no choice, really.
Pretty much. This unprecedented level of pressure stemming from the critical role OpenAI had come to play in the global tech landscape ultimately forced the board to reverse its decision within days. Altman returned, and a new, more commercially aligned board was put in place.
A major shift in governance then.
A huge one. It was a clear, vivid demonstration of collective will from employees, investors, and the wider tech world shaping the fate of a private company in a way rarely seen before. It laid bare the unique public interest in a company building something as powerful as AGI.
It's incredible how an internal power struggle could become such a public and employee concern that it actually dictated the outcome. What does this tell us about the nature of powerful AI labs and the governance structures within them?
Wow.
How did this event highlight broader governance concerns in powerful AI labs, and what are the implications for public perception and trust in organizations wielding such significant technological power?
What's truly fascinating here is that it profoundly underscored the unique nature of AI development at the frontier. Unlike a typical company that might face a leadership crisis, OpenAI isn't just a tech firm. It's perceived by many, as we said, as a steward of potentially world-changing technology.
Right. The stakes feel higher.
Exactly. The crisis highlighted a fundamental, almost philosophical tension inherent in their unique governance model. A nonprofit board, ostensibly focused on the AGI for Humanity mission, suddenly clashed, very publicly, with the operational and commercial realities of a rapidly growing, incredibly valuable for-profit entity.
The tension we talked about earlier manifesting dramatically.
Yes. This event shone a huge spotlight on the governance models of powerful AI labs, prompting critical questions about accountability, transparency, and who ultimately holds the reins when such monumental technology is being developed.
So the public felt they had a stake, almost, because
Yeah.
of the technology's implications. They felt involved.
They absolutely did. And for you, the listener, the implication is profound. When an organization holds the keys to technology that could reshape every aspect of society, jobs, education, information, everything, its internal stability and decision-making processes become a matter of genuine public concern. The lack of transparency around the initial firing and the dramatic, almost chaotic nature of the reinstatement undeniably eroded some public trust, at least temporarily.
Yeah, not messy.
It raised the important question. If the leadership of a company building something as impactful as AGI can be so unstable and its internal processes so opaque, how can we truly trust that they will always act in humanity's best interest?
A fair question.
It highlights the urgent need for robust, transparent governance mechanisms that can withstand internal pressures and external scrutiny, especially for entities with such a monumental potential impact. This raises that critical question: who truly controls AI? And how are decisions made in entities that could impact humanity on a grand scale? The crisis was a stark reminder that the human element in AI extends far beyond the code itself.
That dramatic boardroom episode wasn't just an isolated incident. It was a vivid, high-stakes illustration of a deeper, ongoing tension we touched upon earlier. The constant tug-of-war between OpenAI's founding mission and its new commercial realities.
Right, it all comes back to that.
So with that in mind, let's revisit their founding goal of AGI benefiting humanity. How does this noble mission constantly rub up against the practicalities of operating a capped profit entity that needs to attract massive funding and compete in a rapidly evolving cutthroat market?
This is truly the central tension defining OpenAI's evolving identity, and it's a profound one that they grapple with every single day. On one hand, you have this incredibly noble, almost utopian founding mission: develop AGI for the benefit of all humanity, ensure it's safe, widely accessible, doesn't concentrate power.
The dream.
The dream. On the other hand, the stark reality is that to achieve AGI, or even to build the colossal models that are pushing AI forward, they need truly astronomical amounts of capital, the very best engineers and researchers, immense computational resources, access to vast, diverse data sets.
The practical needs.
Exactly. Operating as a capped profit entity allows them to attract the necessary investment by offering a return, but it fundamentally shifts the dynamic from a purely academic or altruistic pursuit.
So it's no longer just a research lab. It's intrinsically linked to being a business. You can't separate them.
Exactly. They now have stakeholders, investors, who expect a return, even if that return is capped. This creates a relentless pressure to innovate rapidly, to develop marketable products, to secure strategic partnerships, and to compete fiercely with other tech giants who are also pouring billions into AI.
Right. The race is on.
The tension manifests in countless decisions. Do you prioritize open sourcing cutting-edge research for the greater good, potentially accelerating competitors but fulfilling your open mandate?
Which sounds like the original mission.
Right. Or do you keep proprietary models locked down to maintain a competitive edge and secure further investment and market share? Do you slow down development to rigorously test for every possible safety scenario? Or do you push new features to market quickly to stay ahead of the curve and satisfy investor expectations?
It sounds like a perpetual negotiation between lofty ideals and the practicalities of survival and growth in a brutal market.
It absolutely is. This tension can manifest in subtle ways, from how they communicate their safety protocols versus their product launches, to the types of partnerships they pursue, and even the features they prioritize in their next product release.
Mm-hmm.
The mission, while still articulated as their core purpose, often has to find pragmatic common ground with the immediate, tangible demands of the market and their investors. It's not necessarily a betrayal of the mission, but a pragmatic acknowledgement of the immense resources required, which then inevitably influences the path they take.
It forces difficult choices.
Extremely difficult, complex choices about how open they can truly be and how quickly they can move while still adhering, they hope, to their core principles. It's a continuous balancing act on a very high wire.
So, given all this, it's fair to say OpenAI sits at a pretty unique and incredibly impactful intersection. Our sources describe it as being at the intersection of ethics, innovation, and existential anxiety. That's a powerful statement.
It really is. Captures it well.
Why does this unique position make it one of the most searched and debated organizations in the world? And perhaps more importantly, why should you, our listener, care about the internal struggles or philosophical debates happening within an AI lab that might feel a world away?
That phrase, intersection of ethics, innovation, and existential anxiety, perfectly captures OpenAI's unique, almost singular position in the global conversation. They are, without question, pushing the very boundaries of what's technologically possible. That's the innovation.
Right, bleeding edge.
But because what they're building has such profound, potentially society-altering implications, every step they take raises immediate, tangible ethical questions about inherent biases in the vast data sets these models are trained on.
We hear a lot about that.
Yeah. The potential for widespread job displacement, the implications of increasingly autonomous decision-making by AI systems, and even the very nature of what intelligence truly means.
Big questions.
Huge. The existential anxiety comes from the ultimate goal of AGI, which raises fundamental questions about humanity's future, our role in a world with superintelligence, and the potential for a technology that could surpass human intelligence to either solve our greatest problems or, in the worst-case scenarios, pose unforeseen risks to our very existence.
So it's not abstract philosophy. It's about our collective future. It feels very real.
Exactly. This is precisely why it's so searched and debated. People are inherently curious, but also naturally apprehensive about such a fundamentally transformative force. They want to understand it, and they are rightly concerned about its implications. As for why you should care, these aren't just abstract debates happening in a Silicon Valley boardroom. The decisions made by OpenAI, and by extension, other powerful AI labs, are directly shaping the tools you use every day, the information you consume, the dynamics of the job market, and even fundamental societal structures.
Can you give an example?
Sure. For instance, biases embedded in an AI model developed by OpenAI could inadvertently reflect in how job applications are screened, how credit decisions are made, or even how news is generated, potentially affecting real people's lives.
Wow, okay.
The advancements in generative AI can redefine what creativity means for artists and designers, how businesses operate their customer service or develop software, and how education is delivered to students around the globe.
It touches everything.
Pretty much. The existential questions about AGI aren't just theoretical. They directly influence the safety guardrails being put in place, the regulatory pushes we're seeing, and the ethical frameworks that are being built right now to govern these powerful technologies. So understanding these internal tensions and debates within OpenAI is crucial because they are a microcosm of the larger societal conversation about how we, as a global community, want to integrate and manage the most powerful technology humanity has ever created. It directly impacts your future, whether you realize it or not.
That's a really important connection to make, bringing it home for all of us. And speaking of the future, here we are in 2025, and OpenAI is once again firmly in the spotlight, trending across news feeds and discussions globally.
Yep, they're back in the headlines.
What's driving this latest wave of innovation that's putting them back on everyone's radar? Our sources point to specific new releases and advancements like GPT-5, improved Sora, and something called AI agents. What do these signify for the world of AI?
Yes, OpenAI is absolutely continuing its relentless, almost dizzying pace of innovation, and these new releases are key to why they're trending again. GPT-5 is the latest iteration of their foundational large language model.
The next generation.
Right. Think of it as the core AI brain that powers many of their other applications, like ChatGPT. It learns from truly vast amounts of text data to understand and generate human-like language with incredible sophistication. Each new version signifies a profound leap in capabilities.
Like what specifically? Better reasoning.
Yeah, greater reasoning abilities, more nuanced understanding of complex context, increased reliability in generating accurate and relevant information, and potentially greatly enhanced multimodal capabilities.
Multimodal capability sounds like it could revolutionize how we interact with AI. What does that specifically mean for GPT-5?
It truly could. Multimodal capabilities mean it can process and generate not just text, but images, audio, and even video more seamlessly, almost like a single AI brain understanding and creating across different human senses.
Okay, so less siloed.
Exactly. Imagine telling it a complex story, and it not only writes it but illustrates it with original images, composes a fitting soundtrack, and perhaps even generates a short video scene, all from one prompt.
Wow.
This kind of integration means more powerful, more intuitive AI for a vast array of applications built on top of it, pushing the boundaries of what's possible with conversational AI and far beyond.
Then there's the improved Sora. While the initial release was breathtaking, what are the advancements this time around? More realism.
Yeah, the initial Sora release was indeed mind-bending, almost like a magic trick. The advancements in the improved Sora are likely focused on even longer, more complex video generations, offering far greater control over specific elements within the video, things like camera angles, character expressions, intricate scene details.
More director control.
Exactly. And crucially, they're aiming for even higher levels of realism and consistency, ensuring characters and objects remain coherent throughout longer clips, which was a challenge in earlier versions. This makes AI-generated video a much more practical and robust tool for creative industries, filmmaking, advertising, and even everyday content creation. It's blurring the lines between what's real and what's synthesized with astonishing precision.
And AI agents sound like a particularly fascinating and perhaps a bit daunting development. What exactly are AI agents and how could they redefine user interaction and automation?
AI agents are a particularly transformative development. They push AI beyond being just a tool you prompt and then put away. An AI agent is designed to act semi-autonomously on your behalf, often across multiple applications and platforms, to achieve a goal.
So like a smart assistant that actually does things.
Exactly. Think of it as a personal digital assistant that can go beyond simple, single commands and execute complex, multi-step tasks that traditionally require human navigation and decision-making.
Give me an example.
Okay, you could tell an AI agent, plan my entire business trip to London next month. Flights with minimal layovers, moderately priced hotel near the financial district, airport transport, and book dinner at a highly rated British pub Friday night.
And it would just do all that.
And it would then interact with various flight booking sites, hotel aggregators, ride-sharing apps, restaurant reservation platforms, to complete all those tasks without you having to manually navigate each one.
That's huge.
It has the profound potential to redefine user interaction and automation, taking personal and business productivity to an entirely new, almost sci-fi level. It's about delegating complex workflows, not just single tasks.
That sounds both incredibly powerful and, frankly, a little daunting, as you said. And with that power comes, naturally, a lot of public debate and critical questions.
Always does.
Our sources specifically mention growing concerns around data usage, copyright, and misinformation. How do these directly impact the average person's daily digital life or their trust in online information?
These concerns are absolutely critical because they touch on the very fabric of our digital existence and our fundamental trust in the information we consume. Take data usage. AI models like GPT-5 are trained on truly vast data sets, often scraped from the public internet.
Right, the training data issue.
Exactly. This raises significant questions about whether personal data was inadvertently included, if it was used without explicit consent, or if the data itself contains biases that the AI then inevitably perpetuates in its outputs.
Oh.
For the average person, this impacts their privacy and fairness. Are these powerful systems built on data that respects individual rights, or could they inadvertently profile or even discriminate against certain groups or individuals? It's a fundamental question of digital rights.
And copyright is a massive one, especially for artists and creators, with image and video generation tools like DLN and Sora. They must be worried.
Oh, it's an enormous, complex, and who then owns the output? Is it original or is it merely derivative? Artists and creators are rightly concerned about their life's work being used without compensation or attribution, and about their livelihoods being potentially impacted or even threatened by AI that can mimic their style or produce content at an unprecedented scale.
It changes the whole creative economy, potentially.
Absolutely. It directly impacts the economic models of creative industries, the very definition of authorship, and the fundamental value of human-made art in the digital age. It's a legal minefield that's far from resolved.
And then there's misinformation. That feels like a really scary one with these powerful tools.
It is. The very strength of generative AI, its ability to create highly realistic, fluent, compelling text, images, video, is also its greatest vulnerability. AI-generated deepfakes.
Yeah, those are chilling.
It's highly realistic, but fabricated images, audio, or videos designed to deceive realistic fake news articles, misleading narratives. They can be created quickly, cheaply, and at a truly unprecedented scale. This poses a significant, maybe existential threat to our collective ability to discern truth from falsehood online.
Undermining trust completely.
Yeah, undermining trust in traditional media, public discourse, even democratic processes. For you, the listener, it means having to be more vigilant than ever about the information you encounter online. It raises fundamental questions about the provenance and authenticity of all digital content, making media literacy more critical than ever before.
So with all these profound concerns, it's not surprising that governments around the world are getting involved. It
Yeah.
feels like the regulatory landscape is finally starting to take shape, with a growing push for AI safety and transparency.
It had to happen eventually.
What does this mean for the future development and deployment of AI globally, and for companies like OpenAI? Are they facing more rules?
The push for regulation is a direct, perhaps inevitable response to the powerful capabilities of these tools and the very real concerns we just discussed. Governments around the world are grappling with how to ensure AI is developed responsibly and for the public good.
So things like labeling AI content.
Exactly. Regulations focusing on transparency requiring AI models to disclose how they were trained, or that content generated by AI is clearly labeled as synthetic. It means safety ensuring that AI systems are rigorously tested for bias, fairness, and potential misuse before deployment.
Accountability, too. Like, who's responsible if it goes wrong?
That's a big part of it. Some regulations are looking at accountability, determining who is responsible when an AI system makes a harmful or erroneous decision: the developer, the deployer.
Tricky.
Very. Globally, this is a race to establish norms and frameworks. The European Union, for example, has been at the forefront with its Comprehensive AI Act, setting a precedent for risk-based regulation that classifies AI systems by their potential harm. Other countries are following suit, and this patchwork of regulations will inevitably shape how AI is developed and deployed. It could lead to a more fragmented global AI ecosystem where different regions have different rules, or it could push for more international standardization.
We'll see how that plays out.
Ultimately, it means that AI development won't be purely a technological or commercial endeavor. It will be increasingly governed by legal and ethical frameworks designed to mitigate risks and protect society. It's an attempt to embed responsible guardrails into a technology that's moving at warp speed, and it forces companies like OpenAI to consider compliance from the ground up, not just as an afterthought.
And finally, let's touch on strategic alliances and expansion. OpenAI's evolving partnership with Microsoft, for example, has been incredibly significant, and their tools are increasingly being integrated into enterprise operations.
Yeah, that partnership is huge.
How do these partnerships influence OpenAI's reach, resources, and trajectory, and what does it mean for the broader tech ecosystem?
The Microsoft partnership is truly a prime example of a symbiotic relationship at a grand, almost unprecedented scale. Microsoft has invested billions into OpenAI, a staggering sum,
Billions, yeah.
providing the immense computational resources, particularly through their Azure cloud infrastructure, that OpenAI needs to train its massive, increasingly complex models. This kind of computing power is simply not something a startup can easily access independently.
So Microsoft provides the muscle.
Pretty much. In return, Microsoft gains crucial early access to cutting-edge AI models, which it strategically integrates into its own vast product suite. Think about the Copilot features in Office, GitHub Copilot for developers, AI-powered search in Windows.
It's everywhere now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This gives Microsoft a significant competitive advantage in the AI race, and it provides OpenAI with unparalleled resources, a massive distribution channel for its technology to reach millions of enterprise and consumer users, and a path for commercialization that a smaller, independent entity might struggle to achieve alone.
So it's a powerful win-win, driving both innovation and adoption across the board, accelerating everything.
Absolutely. This kind of deep strategic alliance fundamentally shapes OpenAI's trajectory. It provides financial stability, access to vast user bases for testing and deployment, and a path for commercialization that rapidly accelerates the impact of their innovations.
Mm-hmm.
For the broader tech ecosystem, it means that OpenAI's breakthroughs are quickly disseminated and integrated into foundational software and services, accelerating AI adoption across virtually all industries. It also highlights how traditional tech giants are adapting to the AI revolution, often by partnering with or acquiring leading AI startups rather than solely developing everything in-house. It creates a fascinating web of dependencies and collaborations.
And the enterprise integration part.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses using these tools directly.
That's also massive. OpenAI's tools are moving beyond novelty into the very core of business operations globally. Companies are using GPT-powered chatbots for customer service,
Mm.
DALE for marketing content, codecs for internal software development, automation.
It's becoming embedded.
Exactly. AI is no longer just a separate app you open. It's becoming an embedded layer within the tools and workflows of countless businesses, fundamentally changing how work is done, enhancing productivity, automating tasks that were once manual, and in some cases, truly redefining job roles and skill
Oh,
requirements.
wow.
This deep integration solidifies OpenAI's position not just as an AI research lab, but as a foundational layer of the modern digital economy. It's a remarkable evolution from their nonprofit beginnings.
Wow, what a journey indeed. From an idealistic nonprofit with a grand vision for humanity to a commercially powerful global powerhouse, now at the very center of so many critical, complex debates about technology's role in our future.
Yeah.
It's a story that truly mirrors the promises and perils of the AI revolution itself.
A fascinating and ongoing narrative for sure.
As we've seen, OpenAI is a microcosm of the promises and perils of the AI revolution itself. Their journey from an idealistic nonprofit to a commercially powerful, yet ethically scrutinized entity raises a fundamental question for us all. Can the pursuit of advanced intelligence truly benefit humanity if the means to achieve it are constantly at odds with the very principles it was founded upon? It's a tension that will surely continue to shape our future.
A question well worth pondering.
Next time on Trending Unpacked, we lighten the mood a little and head into the quirky tradition of Summerween. Yes, Halloween in July is a real thing, and it's growing fast.